So now we have a little research moment. And you're in your institution and you're leading the institution and you think there are some gender related questions which I would like to explore as a leader, because I would like to see if we need to make changes in our work and study environment, and if so, what and how, etc. So we have a couple of questions for you to ask yourself in view of this research. And the questions are, what information do you need to get the broadest, largest view of the situation as it relates to gender and gender aspects? And is there information that might be taboo? This is in other words, that might not be acceptable. And what information is there already? Often we have a lot of information at our disposal, but we don't know where to get it, or we don't know that it's there. And then finally, what do these questions suggest about your institution and its approach to gender and sexual orientation? So we are suggesting that you take 5 minutes for each of these questions, and the questions will be written in the chat. And you are going to be put in a group of 4 people to discuss this. So you have 20 minutes. And the idea is that you would come up with up to 5 points as to information you would need. And we're asking that you consider writing your findings down in the chat. If you don't have time to write your findings down in the chat, we will, in any event, ask each group to share one piece of information that should be asked at the conclusion of these 20 minutes. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful time, and we'll see you back here in 20 minutes. So I would just like to invite each of the groups to share one piece of information that they felt needed to be researched, needed to be addressed in this research that you're going to do in your institution. So can we have room 1, please? It's the room with the A's. Annette,
was that my room? I think.
yes.
Okay, so we had 2 really important points, which will probably be repeated now, but one was make mandatory workshops or set up mandatory workshops or obligatory workshops to really spread awareness. We had it in our orientation week, but turns out staff didn't even know, and that this was organized by the student union, but to have it as part of the curriculum, and that all staff, faculty and students have to attend these meetings to really become more aware. And then the second one, which is more important to, I think, just mankind in general, I suppose, is simply to be respectful and mindful of each other, rather than feel like you have to tiptoe around everyone and not offend, because that's how you make someone feel excluded as well, because people might be shy to approach someone because they don't want to offend. So just general respect.
Thank you very much. So those are really essential first steps. We're talking about policies. I'm just wondering if we can hear from room 2, and if you were looking at this as a research question, is there information you need to get in your institution to look at how you can address issues related to gender and sexual orientation? Room 2.
Yes, I was in that group. We were kind of talking about how we find out within the school if what's the situation, and we thought about starting to look if there's a place where you can even report any kind of harassment or bigotry. I think that was for us one of the first places to start. And then also someone in our group had a research paper that was written by a group similar to our prime project about sexual harassment across European schools. And I think if people read this and then see if the situation or there are similar markers at your own school, you could start asking questions with administration.
Thank you very much. So this is really important to be able to lean on research that exists, and the research that exists may also suggest areas that you want to investigate. So can we hear from room 3 now? Can you just close this so I can see? And room 3, unfortunately. If you don't know what your room number is, can you just step in? Somebody whose group has not been heard from?
Well, yeah, I don't know the group number, but I just
Okay,
jump in.
okay.
We were discussing about whether we really, or which information we need to know about the gender of staff, students, and teachers. And actually, we said that we just need one information, and this is like what is your gender? Where do people feel? Which group would people say they belong to? But we said we only need this for statistical reasons, because in daily business, the gender shouldn't be a topic. But we thought that it would be interesting for institutions to evaluate whether programs like this about diversity are successful. This is the only reason why we should ask about the gender of persons. But in daily business, gender in general shouldn't be that would be the goal, shouldn't be a topic.
Great, thank you. Do we have another group that would like to share their thoughts?
Yeah, maybe we can do it together, Michaela. We were talking about a kind of office stuff. For example, it was very interesting for us that Graz had, for example, 6 official solutions to name the people, like men, women, no, diverse, and they have 6. We don't know the English word for that.
I think 6 gender categories, how you can declare yourself. And we talked about the different situations in the different countries, different law or the legal situations. And that's information we need, because a lot of our students and teachers are coming from other countries. So to make clear how is the situation here, it's another situation as it is in Croatia, for example, where you can choose between male and female, and that's it, as well as I have heard. And that's the informations we need, so that we can handle the different backgrounds, the different situation, and then declare how the situation is here in Austria. And then we can inform. We in Graz have a Center for Gender Studies, and we do have electives in every curriculum that those students can choose to inform themselves or to make lessons in these topics.
And on this way we come through that it would be cool if every university changed, for example, at first the homepage, where you know and understand this school got a gender language, and we want to work like that. And this was the next step, because Michaela said that they have a lot of students from other countries and they don't know what's going on. And I think that then it comes in our mind, maybe we have to change our homepages, for example, and find, for example, for all of our universities, a special sign for that we are like that and that we want to work like that, and that we have this language. I'm sorry, I'm talking.
No, thank you. No, that's good. Do we have 1 or 2 more contributions here quickly?
I'm not sure which number my group was, but we were focusing more on the discussion of how to detect, recognize discrimination and harassment, and the importance of education. That would be similar to Anya's workshops, but we thought more of a external person that is not a musician or not a part of a university, something between a counselor or psychologist, who would be the person doing the educating and who would be then the referential person that people can go and complain to or have their own tell about their stories, because the relationship, it's not always the easiest thing to tell to your teacher, and then the teachers themselves sometimes don't know what to do and don't have the tools. And if this person could be somebody doing the educating but also aware of the legal process and laws that could be, that are maybe being broken, or the necessary steps that can be taken outside of the university when maybe there is a problem with a certain person, that it doesn't stay within our university and music bubble, but that there are some steps and consequences that can be taken, because then only the people who are in a difficult situation will come forward and feel safe enough to say something.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And do we have one last? I don't know how many groups there were, so I'm sort of lost in the group numbers, but is there somebody who hasn't? Yes.
I think we were in group 6. I was with Ellie and Theodore and just Theodore and Gustav, I think. Yeah, just following up and agreeing an awful lot with actually, funnily enough, with what Anya said, that sometimes there's a lack of kind of active debate about this stuff because of a lack of education, for fear of wanting to offend. And I think between us, some of people pointed out that there was, in some institutions, no policy in place with regards to how these things should be dealt with, and that it depended on individual teachers or professors and how they actually dealt with gender. For instance, there was an example of a trans woman in a class, and they didn't know how to relate to her because they had no leadership with regard to it. So it's really important that the institution creates a safe space in order for individuals to actually be able to express themselves fully.
Yes, I think what's really impressive here is that we see a lot of these themes keep coming back from the first assembly and now into this assembly. And I guess that they comfort us in the notion that these are issues that really need to be addressed in thoughtful and respectful ways.
Sorry, just one other thing that I just want to make the point, because Ellie brought it up, was that within the institution, that actually the inequality was seen as more is at the stage where they're trying to get equality between male and female, and they haven't even gotten to the point yet of where they're dealing with gender and harassment issues.
So these are neglected.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anybody who's been left out here? No. Thank you very much. Now we have a little moment to dream and a little moment to start with your reality and then to dream. This is an exercise in 2 parts, which is to prepare a picture of reality and a picture of dreams. And in this exercise, we're asking you to imagine that you would make a description of the situation in your institution in relation to gender, but you don't know how to put your thoughts into words. And so we're thinking of other ways to do this. And we are asking that you consider making a drawing or a mind map, or even using an object that symbolizes what you're trying to communicate. And then once you have done that, to put these concepts or drawings into words in the chat. So the picture of reality is about how gender and sexual orientation manifests itself in music making, in your institution, and in the profession. So that's just sort of the larger picture of how you see it manifesting itself. And then the dream picture is, okay, you're dreaming of a better world. What can we do to ensure a fairer future? And what do you see? And what should be done? So once again, we're inviting you to create a picture in your mind and then to try and write that down. You're going to be in groups, but since this exercise actually provoked a lot of uncertainty in the working group, we did a small exercise just now, which we are going to share with you. These are these drawings were made in very short time, so it's not Leonardo da Vinci by any means, but we're going to share these images to show what a drawing might be and what a mind map might be. And these, as I say, are almost caricatures, but they should help you better understand the idea. Can we turn those, rotate that?
No, I'm sorry. It's too difficult to turn them around.
Okay, so unfortunately, we're unable to turn these around.
But there is a PowerPoint. Carolina has made a PowerPoint, and then
Oh,
they
okay.
should be correct.
Wait, there we go.
Okay. So this is reality and this is the dream. So when you see in the reality, they're all separate. This is reality and this is the dream. This is about what you get to wear in concerts. And this is
The drum section, I
the
think.
drum section, which is all male. And then a half female and half male drum section. And then this is a mind map, which you can read, where the current situation includes gender imbalance, and the dream is gender equality, for example. And then the third is where everybody is separated, and in the dream, they're actually all connected. So these are very, very simple examples, but we hope that they will be sufficient to help you as you gather in your new groups, where you're going to be between maybe 6 or 7 people in each group. You'll have 20 minutes for your picture of reality and 20 minutes for your picture of dreams. And we're going to come back and we're going to ask you to share your images. And we're going to ask you to write what you see in your chat. And you are going to be working with members of the Assembly Working Group who have engaged in this exercise with much kicking and screaming, but with lots of laughter, but lots of seriousness. So we look forward to seeing you back in 40 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. I hope this has been a stimulating and fun moment, but nevertheless serious. And we're going to look forward to reading everything that comes through in the chat in terms of what you have shared. But right now, we would just invite you all to share your images in front of your computer, if that's possible.
Gretchen, can I say something first?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. The ones we have a background picture wouldn't let us show the drawing. So
Right.
the same people who have a blurry background wouldn't let show the picture. So they have to turn off the blurry background or the picture background. For example, if we, the committee, want to share the pictures, we have to turn off the background. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding us. We had this exact same thing just come up here. So please remove any filters you may have to your Zoom background. That means that the working group takes away their prime background, and anybody else who has some fancy image takes it away. And so now is coming the big moment. where each of you is being invited to share your image. First of all, we're going to start with a picture of reality. And can you lift your picture and show it in front of the Zoom? And we will try to zoom in. I don't know how we're going to do this, but I can't see very well.
Oh, nice. Okay, everybody hold in position and I'm trying to take a screenshot. I know it's not ideal, but there we go.
I just would like to tell you that I asked my group to, we've done pictures of pictures, and then they send them to me via email. So we have it
That's
in electronic version.
That's fantastic. I would also invite people to share it either by email or on Slack. Take a picture, but this is wonderful for the group feeling that everybody has done some drawing. So I'll share that as well with you later. So thank you.
And now can I invite you to share your picture of the dream? And Esther is going to take a picture. Oh, wow, we even have an instrument. That's great. And can you go to the next page just so we see the second page? Here on the second page.
Yeah, I need to go through so many participants. So please hold it on for one more minute and I'll tell you when to put it down. And there we go. So now I have 4 wonderful pictures of all your dreams. And I'll share it on Slack later on.
Can I also add that maybe we should invite participants one more time to Slack, because some people did not get the invitation or don't know what it is. So maybe we can do that later, if I may.
Yeah. We can do that. If you experience problems with Slack, also don't hesitate to reach out.
So we are coming to the end of our first day, and we hope that this sort of panorama experience of sharing our own experiences about dreaming and looking forward, about listening to examples of what actually happens in the profession, and from the expert brief, and better understanding what gender is, even though we understand that the situation is much more complex and would merit a long discussion. That tomorrow we are going to move on to really seeing how we can make recommendations, but we're going to go through another series of exercises that are going to involve policymaking and harassment scenarios, gender guessing game, what we do when we observe things that are not appropriate, and how do we stay silent, or what can we do if we are bystanders, and more generally, and how we move from the academy or conservatoire to the profession, and that we're going to do some more dreaming again, and then we're going to come back down to making recommendations, which we will try to have more time for the recommendations, because this is this is the final objective of the Prime project. So it's really critical that we give this the time it requires. And we hope that you're all going to be able to be there. But before we go there, we have a little social hour now planned for those of you who can stay on or who would like to connect with each other. And I think I'm going to ask Esther to explain what the social hour includes.
Yes, so thank you, Gretchen. A social hour, I mean, it can take 20 minutes. It doesn't have to take an hour. I can imagine that Zoom fatigue is also around the corner for some of you. But if you want, we will do the same thing as something similar as last time. We'll have 2 separate rooms with 2 different performances that you can join, so that you can see, and that have been provided by our host. That's unfortunately you're not able to travel to, but here in Graz. So they've shared 2 different performances also related to a certain extent to the topics. So we have a performance of the Jazz Symphonic Orchestra with a composition by Claudia Döfflinger. So that's a nice big orchestra with a new piece. And in the other room, we have interpretation of the gender choir. So you can choose which breakout room to go to and which piece you want to listen to. And we also realized that connecting now on a more personal level is quite difficult. So I just wanted to point out to you that if you want to talk with some people that you've met today or in the other or in the first assembly on power relations, on your love for the same instrument, on what's happening in Ukraine, or because you all both have awesome glasses, you can do so. And I would, for example, through Slack. So if you go to the direct messages, I mean, you can text each other, but you can also have a call. So there's a call button within Slack, which you can use to kind of, if you want to, in a smaller group or just individually with somebody else, after or at another moment, I really invite you to also connect there if you feel like it. So you can use our music rooms, but you can also use your own means of connecting, for example, through Slack. So we'll open 2 breakout rooms and you can choose the one that you want to go to. So Barbara, if I do the gender choir, will you do the jazz one? I'm just, we still have to organize this a little bit.
Yes, I actually never opened the jazz link and I don't know, I see that it's not YouTube. Could we just do it the other way around?
Sure, yeah. Okay. Then everybody, there's gonna be 2 breakout rooms and I'm gonna do the jazz one.
But you're not, just to be very clear, this is the conclusion of our deliberations today. So if you have other plans and other obligations, we certainly understand, and we really appreciate your engagement and participation in this process. And we really look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at 9:30. So have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.